All right, so we're gonna configure our GNS3 so that we can have a router, a router connected to it. We're gonna set up the IP address, right, the loopback, so that it connects to the loopback, and we're gonna set up SSH on the router, right? So SSHing to the router just means that we can remotely connect it to it. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna go down here where we see our a plethora of icons. We're gonna pull in the cloud. Okay. Now, we have to make sure that we're using the server from our local computer, right? Press OK. Now it should pop up. There's our cloud. Now we want to configure our cloud to connect to the loopback. Okay, so we're going to configure, and now we're going to go show interfaces, right? And we're going to look back for this loopback test, and we're going to add that. Okay, we can do apply and OK. Now, just for reference, I'm going to go back and show you the I'm going to show you network connections, control panel, right? I want to show you exactly how I have it set up so that you guys aren't in, um, let's see. Oh, we can go here. Okay. Yeah, well, you could do it this way too, but basically you would, go to your network and internet, network and sharing center, look back for the loopback. Remember, you've already installed it. You go to properties. Couple things that you need to take into account. Okay, we need to turn off Internet Protocol version 6. Okay, so make sure this is off. And Internet Protocol version 4, we double click it, and we're going to put in this following IP address 10.1.1.2, subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Press OK, you're all good. Okay, press OK. So basically, what you're doing is that you're setting your loopback to have that IP address. And you can make sure that everything's in working order by going to a terminal window or command prompt, right? And if you do an IP config, right, it's going to tell you all, right? It's going to tell you all the network interfaces that you have and IP addresses. So if we look at it, right, we should have the 10.1.1.2. Here it is. Okay? So that's just making sure that you have it. We'll get back to this terminal window in a second because we're going to set up the cloud and then we're going to configure a router to connect to it. Okay, so configure, right? We got the loopback test. That means that when we connect something to it, we can connect to that interface. So other thing we can do is we can change this name. So we'll just call this loopback, right? Just so that we're not confused. We're going to bring in our C7200, right? This is our router. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a wire. We're going to connect it from here, Etherfast 00. We're going to connect it to the loopback test. Okay, we press play. We start the devices. And now we're going to right click on this router, right? And we're going to configure this router. Not configure. We're going to right click and go to console. So that means we're going to go into the console of this router, right? And we're going to configure it from the console. Now, where is it? Here it is. Okay, this one is, okay. So this is the router, okay. Takes a little while to boot up, but here we go. I'm gonna put it a little bit higher so that you can see it. And these are the commands we're gonna be working with, okay? These are directly from the slides. So you just need to follow these. Okay, so here you see R1 because that's the name it was given. It shows you that basically everything is down, right? These interfaces are down. We haven't set them up. So let's go and let's start setting them up. All right, so I was able to change the size to make it a little bit easier for you guys to look at. So here I'm in R1, which is down here, and we're going to go through these commands in order to set up our router to be able to be accessible via SSH. Okay, so first thing, configure. You can just follow these right here. Configure terminal Okay. So here now we're in the config. You know you're in config. It says right there. So now we're doing interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Right. Okay. So now what we're telling it, we're gonna configure the interface. And which interface are we using? Fast Ethernet 0/0. What are we gonna give it? We're gonna give it an IP address. Right. We're gonna give it 10.1.1.10. And with a subnet mask of 255.255.0. Okay, that looks good, right? No shut. Oops, you didn't see that. Okay, so that essentially brings it up, right? Turns it down and turns it back on, so it changes the state, right? Changes state to up, right? It's not shutting it down. It's basically turn it down and turn it back up. Okay. So now we're going to give it a host name. So now we're going to give this, instead of calling it R1, we're going to give it a specific host name. And that is Cisco Router 1. Okay? And now we're going to give IP domain, right? I'm just right here. Name CSN.com. Now we're going to give a username and a secret. Username CSN, secret Cisco. So this is what we're going to use when we're SSHing into the device. Secret Cisco. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to enable the secret. Cisco. So now it's enabled. That means that we can use it. Okay, and now we're going to create a key. So this is the key that's going to allow us to use SSH. Remember that you need keys on both sides so that both connections can be secure. Right? This isn't Telnet. Telnet is an unsecure, just pure text-based interface. Right? So it's just when you send something via Telnet, if somebody's in the middle, they can see exactly what you're doing. Most of the stuff we do today is secured. So SSH, secure shell, right? So that's why we need to create a key. So we're gonna do crypto key generate RSA. Okay. Then it's gonna ask us for how many bits. We're gonna put 2048. Okay, now it's generating the key. Awesome. Takes a while, but it should generate not too long. Hopefully. Uh-oh. There we go. So it took 22 seconds. All right. So now we're going to do IP SSH version 2. Basically, we're telling them that we want to use SSH version 2. Now we're going to do line VTY04. Okay. And transport input SSH. Great. Okay. Login local. We're going to allow it to log in. And end. Okay, and now we're going to write the memory. So this is going to write memory. Do we want to overwrite the previous NRAM configuration? Yes. So it's building the configuration and it's writing the memory. And as you can see, now it says Cisco Router 1. Now, if we wanted to check to see if we can ping, right? That's an important thing. We want to make sure that we can ping back and forth. Okay. Well, first things first, we're going to want to see if the configuration's stuck. All right, so I'm going to make sure that that we have an IP address and that the system, that the thing's stuck. You know, the IP address. So show IP interface brief, right? And if we look, I'm going to have to scroll up a little bit. We're going to look at 01. Here it is, 10.1.1.10, and yes, it is up. Here it is. Okay. So now we're going to try to ping 10.1.1.2. 2. Okay, so we got 80%. That's fine. 4 out of 5. If we do it a second time, usually we get 100%. So that means we didn't get any problems. We got 5 packets to go through 10.1.1.2. That's basically my computer, right? And if we can ping it from the other side here, right? So if I do clear, I think it's CLS actually. Okay, right? So from here, this is my terminal, my computer, right? And I am going to ping 10.1.1.10, right? Is that right? Now I'm just forgetting what I did. Yep, 10.10, okay. And we can see that we are getting ping. So basically, from here, we're able to connect to this router. Okay? So now we're going to do the SSH, but I'm telling you right that we're going to have some issues with the SSH as it is. In another video, I'll show you how to fix those issues, but let's just go ahead and try it. So remember, it'll be SSH CSN at 10.1.1.10. Okay? So unable to negotiate. There's a variety of different problems here. In another video, I will go into how to solve these problems.